So I just finished watching Snowfall the other day, and it was a fantastic show. But I wanted to make this video kind of just talking about like the characters and how I feel about them. I have some things written down in my notes here about like individual characters. So if you see me looking at my phone, I'll go into more detail about what I mean when I say things. But yeah, we finished it on, today is Tuesday. We finished it on Sunday, so 2 days ago. So I'm kind of letting it, build a little bit, how I feel about all the characters and the way that it ended. It was a fantastic show, an amazing ride. Like, it was so good. It's so fantastic. And one of the most realistic endings, but that makes it so bittersweet in a way. I'm not going to go over the plot or specific season now, like stuff like that. I'm not going to do any of that. I kind of just want to talk about the characters and where they ended up at the end of the show. So we're going to start off with Skully and Wanda. The show did not have to give them as much screen time or development or even keep them around. Like, they could have died and nothing in the show would really have changed. So, like, I just want to say that Skully and Wanda slowly became some of my favorite characters. Like, I'm probably going to say that about all the characters in this show, but really, Skully and Wanda specifically did not need to be the characters that they became in the end. Wanda, especially Wanda, in the earlier seasons when she was going through her addiction and stuff, I hated her. I'm gonna be honest. Like, she was really fucking annoying. And Wanda's going through her addiction. There's a part where she ends up getting shot, and I was hoping that this would be the end of her character because I thought she was going to be one of those characters that is kind of there to fuck shit up, but then that was it. So, like, I thought, like, when she steals the recipe or how to cook the crack and everything like that, I thought that she was just going to strictly be that, and then was gonna like give the recipe to other people, and then she was gonna die, and then but it's like she did her job. But no, she goes through rehab and everything, and gets okay, and then by the end of the show ends up with Leon, who is again one of my favorite characters, and their relationship is very good, like extremely good, and very interesting to watch the entire time. So, like, again, they didn't need to do that. And it's just great. I really hope that she died when she got shot. And then they turned her character around, and I actually enjoy her as a character, and I'm so glad that they did that. And also, another thing about all the characters in this show, they all feel like real people. So, like, to say that you want, like, a person to die is fucked up. But, like, I know that it's a TV show character, but she caused so many problems. But to see her flip and do, like, a heel turn kind of thing, well, like, I know heel turn means that you, like, turn evil, but to flip her character around, they didn't have to do that, and that's great. Another one, Skully. Skully started out kind of as a villain. He was somebody that Franklin sold to so that they could make more money, but he ends up, with the war and everything that was going on, Skully would turn into just a villain, somebody that they had to figure out what to do with, you know what I mean, the main characters, and it was he turning to God and then not having that anger, and also him having that scene where Leon at the very end of the show, like the last like 3 episodes, where but at Jerome's funeral, or when they're at Franklin's house, you get that little second of where the camera is panning of following Franklin and Oso. You get that the scene of Leon crying and talking to Skully and apologizing about that he killed Skully's daughter, and Skully's like, you gotta let that shit go, man. So good. You don't have to have this. You don't have to have these characters interact anymore. That it was like 3 seasons ago that this happened, or 2 seasons ago. You don't have to have these characters interact at all or talk to each other at all. And I mean, obviously, with it wouldn't be realistic to never address it again, because obviously this is something that hurt Skully very deeply. But like, you don't have to for the story, because obviously the story is Franklin and Leon and Teddy and Jerome and Louie. So, like, you don't need to have that, but they did. And Skully being, like, a character that Louie goes to when she's, like, feeling terrible about Jerome and everything, like, that's so well done. Like Wanda and Skully are 2 characters that I didn't expect them to be more than just kind of, like, plot. Wanda and Skully were 2 characters that they didn't feel like they needed to be explored or like really explained a whole lot. Not that they were plot devices, because they're obviously characters. They go through things, they go through struggles, they go through problems, and like they are, again, every character in this show feels very like a real person that could exist. So all the decisions that they make and things like that, it all makes sense. But they didn't need to be explained, you know what I mean, or anything like that. So I thought that was really great. Okay, so next character I have on my list is Oso. I don't have a lot to say about Oso. I know I said I was going to do it in order of who I have most to say. I just spent a lot of time talking about Wanda and Skully, but with Oso's character, he felt very he's a good character, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he is a bad character, but he felt more tame. Like Franklin has a character arc throughout the show of like kind of not turning evil, but like doing very heinous things for money and figuring out a way to scheme and get his money and solve problems that pop up. Oso doesn't really have that. He does obviously end up working with the DEA and then talking to the KGB agent a little bit and end up helping Franklin, but Oso is more of a character that feels like a follower, and that's okay. That's not an issue. Not every character in this show needs to be a Teddy and a Franklin, you know what I mean? So like it makes a lot of sense. Or it's just I don't have a lot to say. He ends up in a good position. He is alive. He is not in jail. Teddy is dead, so there is no worrying about Teddy coming back to kill him or anything like that. It does suck that he doesn't get to be with his family, but you know, he is a character that in the end it ends up okay for him, but there's not a lot to say. He doesn't go through like an insane character arc where he starts out as Oso in the beginning and it's like, oh my god, you see Oso at the end and he's some different character. He's not really, and that's okay, and I like that because, again, like I said, not every character in the show is going to be Franklin. But I liked Oso, and I came to like him a lot more. I will say in the earlier seasons with his whole stuff with Lucia, I didn't like her, so it kind of made me not care about Oso as much, only because it's like they were always in a scene together, and I didn't really care about her, and then like him caring about her made me care a little bit. But like the second that like Oso and Teddy are working together, and then they kind of are like a buddy system, I do like that. But again, Oso doesn't go through crazy arcs. He's not like a villain. He doesn't go out of his way to hurt people. He's kind of literally just doing it for money, but he's not greedy about it the way that Franklin and Teddy and Louie are, if that makes sense. Like he's just doing it so that I don't really know why I know why he's doing it, you know what I mean? He's in that game, he's in that world, but he's not villainous, he's not evil, he's not scheming, like he's not trying to get up on the next person or get over on the next person, you know what I mean? And that makes it, he's a good character, but he ends up in a good spot, but I just don't really have a lot more than that to say about him. Okay, now we're going to Jerome, where we have a little bit more to discuss. Okay. In season 1 of this show, Jerome told Franklin that he did not want to be a part of any of the cocaine, and he said this before they even figured out how to turn it into crack. This was a long time ago. Like, if you're looking at season 1 to season 6, they're drastically different characters, Jerome, but everybody in the show is drastically different. But from the jump, Jerome said that he didn't want any parts of it because what it causes, like the things that people will do for the kind of money and the drug that this is. And he didn't want to be a part of it. And in season 6, he again says that he does not want to do it anymore. And that my whole thing with Jerome is he's like, I know I say everybody's like my favorite character. I really like all of the characters in this show. Jerome is probably my favorite. He's probably my favorite. And I called it too. I said, Jerome's character, the only way, because he already tried to get out of there. He already tried to get away from the game and do his little, like his DJ shop. It was jamming Jerome's or selling speakers and everything. He tried to do that in previous seasons. It like, if they were going to go the route with Jerome to make him, get him the good ending or have him have a good ending, they would end it with him getting his speaker shop. But he already had that. So I said the only way that it can end for Jerome is he has to die. Because I don't want it to happen, of course, but like, it has to. That's the only way that because what do you do with his character if he lives at the end? but he's still in the game. So I called it. It didn't make it hurt any less. But the thing about Jerome is he said to Franklin in that diner scene, he asked Cissy to move near him so that he could provide and help Cissy and also raise Franklin because Alton was going through his bullshit, right? So he feel like he wants to be needed. He feels like he doesn't have anything unless he's providing. And that is what is so tragic about his character, is like he feels like a sense of responsibility. He didn't want to be in the coke and the crack game. He was only selling weed. And then Franklin wants to sell and make bigger profits. Louie goes behind Jerome's back and helps Franklin sell this shit. And then Jerome gets into it because he loves Louie. And then he also gets into it because he loves Franklin. He does everything in this show for other people because he loves them and cares about them. And that's his downfall, but that's not his fault. Like, I've been looking at a lot of people's, like, you know, their takes on the show. And a lot of people say that Jerome, when he beat up, what is it? Black Diamond, Diamond. When he beat her to death, that he was extremely responsible. And I don't disagree, but that's what makes a character so good, in my opinion, is you can have a character that makes all the right decisions, and it's probably a little boring. You have a character that makes all the wrong decisions, and they're a villain, or they're dumb, or it's like, if they're making wrong decisions, it seems like a stupid thing on the character to be making wrong decisions. Jerome, he was forced to pick a side. It was either help Franklin and go against his wife, or stick with his wife and go against his nephew, who he views as a son. He literally couldn't get out of that because, I'm going to get to it, but Franklin and Louie are two sides of the same coin, in my opinion. That's how I feel. I see a lot of people on like TikTok comments or YouTube comments saying Louie is the biggest problem, or they'll say I hate Louie and everything that she did. If you hate Louie, she is a catalyst. Like, it does feel like she starts a lot of the problems, but you cannot say that Franklin doesn't do the same thing. And that's where I feel like it's not Jerome's fault, because he's doing, either way, whatever side he picks, which he's forced to pick, he says that he will not kill his own family, and it still escalates there. He can't do anything about it. He's forced to pick, and when he's forced to pick, it's wrong. And then he does beat up Diamond, and it's fucked up because they are just helping Franklin because he's paying them. So, like, I do think that Jerome beating up Diamond was wrong, but also if Louie and Jerome were paying Diamond and Dallas more money, they would be on their side. So in my opinion, I don't think Diamond and Dallas are exactly saints in this situation. Like, not Franklin's saint, but they're not perfect. You know, they were literally introduced as people whoever gives them the most money, they will kill for that person. Whoever gives them the more money, they'll kill for whatever you say goes, as long as you're paying me more money. So I don't think that Jerome is innocent in what he did, because she was also pregnant, which that's another thing that's a problem. But Jerome is doing all of this for the people that he loves. He feels like they need him, and so he is doing things for them, and he doesn't want to do it himself, and it's so tragic. Jerome was literally going to leave, and Jerome was going to leave, and Louie said, give me time, and he did. He didn't even want to do it, and he still did because he loves her, and he ends up fucking dying in the end because Louie gets captured and yada yada. But Jerome is my favorite character, and it's so tragic, and I literally called that he had to die because he couldn't get the good ending. Because it's not fair. He's not going to get the good ending. Like, it's tragic and it's sad, but that's how it is, right? So then before we get up we have two more characters before the final three, which is Franklin, Teddy, and Louie, because I think that those three fit kind of in the same broad, like, category. So we have Leon. Leon's character is fucking one of the best character arcs in any TV show that I have ever seen in my entire life. He goes from this, like, bulldog, I think they say it, or maybe that's what me and my fiance kind of, like, he's like, Franklin is like the brains, as Franklin says, and then Leon is the muscle or whatever. In early seasons, that's the way it is. But after after Leon ends up shooting and killing Skully's daughter, you see a shift of, he realizes that, why are we doing this? We're killing our own people for money, and the people that are actually causing the problem, i.e. the government or Teddy, they're the ones that get off and get to go and do whatever, but we're dying and killing each other. And it's a turning point for Leon, and it's really good. And another thing that this show does that I want to talk about is they give you scenes between characters that you would never think would be together, but it's some of the most impactful scenes in the whole show. Like, for example, when after Leon is on the run for the shooting that he did, he needs to change his hair, or you know what I mean, like, so he's not as recognizable because his afro is real big, and like, so they put him in a house, like, hidden where nobody knows where he is, and they send Cissy over there to do his hair so that he looks different, you know. And you have this scene between Cissy and Leon where, obviously, this is like season 3 or 4. I don't remember the exact timeline. I think that it's around season 3. But you have, these two characters don't really interact, and it's weird, but it's so impactful because Leon starts breaking down, because at this point Leon doesn't have any family. His whole family is basically Franklin Saint's family. It's all of Franklin's family. It's Jerome, Leon, and then maybe a couple people in the projects that are like, that feel like Leon's family, but like Leon's own mother is like, look, I got shit I gotta do. I don't got time to be worrying about you. So when Cissy and Leon sit there and Leon starts crying and she holds him, it's like she understands that, like, Leon didn't, obviously Leon pulled the trigger, but he didn't ever mean for it to kill a kid. You know what I mean? And like, again, Leon is a character where he is backing Franklin because Franklin is his day one, like his best friend. So he's gonna do whatever Franklin asks him to do, and whether or not that's a smart thing to do, like a real person would do that, you can understand why Leon is doing that. But that changed Leon's whole perspective of everything. And to see Cissy and Leon sit there and cry, or like Leon cry in Cissy's arms, like this Cissy being this like mother character, it's so good. It's so good. And it almost made me cry, and I not that I like don't cry at TV or anything like that. Certain shows have gotten me like to cry. But in this entire show, even at the very end, the last season, last episode, even Jerome's death, I came close. I think I shed a tear when Leon and Cissy are together, because it's like, this is a characters that you wouldn't see together, but oh my god, it was so impactful. Another thing real quick about characters that you never see interact. In the last season, when Cissy is running the shelter that Alton ran, she has this conversation with Wanda. And again, you don't think Wanda and Cissy in the same scene, like just those two, like not like other people around talking. It's just them, and they're just having a heart-to-heart, and it's a good emotional moment because Cissy feels like this ultimate mother character, but you don't need Cissy and Wanda to have a conversation, but it works, and you do, and it's good, and it shades in these already extremely well-shaded characters. It's so good. He basically, at the end, he gets like the Jerry curl, and he basically, in my opinion, just becomes young Jerome, like with a smarter, not smarter, but like a different outlook on everything. And like, he just reminds me of Jerome, just like the OG, you know what I mean? Like, everybody called Rome the big OG, and then that's kind of what Leon, you know, becomes. Like, you know, he's not old, but he's the OG, you know what I mean? And just, I thought it was great. And him, like, the stuff going to Africa, but then him feeling like responsible for people in the projects. Like, yeah, we're out here living our best lives and we're free, but what about the people that we grew up with? Are they free? And it's so good. So good. So now we're going to get into Cissy's character. Now, this is very divisive. A lot of people don't like Cissy's character because, oh, why couldn't she wait 10 more seconds? She turned on Franklin and everything. I think people, and again, it's opinions, but I think people who feel that way don't understand Cissy's reasoning. Excuse me. Cissy is a character that never wanted to be a part of the drug thing at all. Jerome used to sell weed, but he didn't want to be a part of coke. Cissy didn't want any drug money. She wanted to work for everything that she had. And when she's having the conversation with Alton, and I think it's season 2 or season 1, one of the two, Alton goes, "Are you really going to lose this house?" And she goes, "Yes, I will she yells it, but she goes, "Yes, I will fucking lose this house." And Cissy at that point was my favorite character because she was so stood in her moral beliefs, and to me that is realistic as fuck. That is the most somebody being that, like, I know my morals, I don't want to be a part of it, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to accept $1, I'm not going to accept fucking 50 cents, nothing. I'm not doing it. I'm going to work for the money I got, and if I lose everything I have, then I will fucking lose it. And it was so good because she stood a part of it. Everybody in the show so far, Louie, Jerome, Leon, Franklin, and then, obviously Oso and Teddy, all of them, they were all in it. They were all in it. Cissy was the only character that wasn't, and even Alton, when he came back into Cissy's life, he accepted the money just from being around for however long, 10-ish minutes, you know what I mean? A couple episodes, he was like, "Okay, Franklin, I'll take the money or whatever. I'll give it to your mom." But Cissy wouldn't. And so at the end of season 2, when Franklin is in jail and she sees what it's doing to him, she kind of has this rationalization of all right, look, he's going to keep doing it. I can't stop it. So if he's going to keep doing it, I might as well try to legitimize the business and make it not drug related. And for me, that was upsetting because I was like, she was the one character that stood out, and I didn't like that she is now a part of it. But it ties so well into the last season because she tried to be a part of it to make it a legit business that was legitimate, that was not drug related, that had nothing to do with the CIA. Take the money that you made and then put it here and put it here and put it here and put it here, yada yada yada, right? In the end, it didn't change anything. Her trying to help did not change anything. Franklin came just as greedy and money hungry as he ever was. He gained probably more so because he was making so much money, and now he was making more because he's investing and he's doing this, and Cissy showed him how. So she feels guilty. She feels guilty about it. And that is the thing that, in the end, she realized what this money was doing to Franklin, and the ending of this show is so bittersweet because you don't want to see what happens to Franklin happen to him, but I think that it is so well written because in my brain, I'm like, if Franklin got that money and then Cissy shot Teddy, right? If she did that, what would Franklin become? What would happen to Franklin after he has all his money? Would he stop? No. Absolutely not. Franklin, after Teddy's dead, he's going to keep either trying to figure out a new plug or he's going to try to keep making money because he can't. He wants the money so bad that he can't do anything. He's so blinded by it. And it's so well done. I think Cissy's character is really good and it sucks. And then another thing, when Cissy's in jail and she answers the phone to Franklin, the first thing that Franklin says is, "Don't say anything. I'm going to figure out how to get you." He didn't even ask how she was. And so she doesn't have anything to say to him. And then you have Leon go see her, and he's like, "How are you doing, Miss Saint? Is everything okay?" He cares about her. It's not about the money. It's about people. It's about the relationship that they have. And that's why Cissy is talking to Franklin. Or, I'm sorry, that's why Cissy talks to Leon. And then when, Franklin comes back a second time when he's basically broke, he blames her, and the only thing he can talk about is the money. He doesn't even see him as her mom anymore. And then she does not talk to him. And that is so good. It's so well written, and it sucks because Franklin in the beginning of the show only did majority of this shit for his mom. He wanted to help his mom. She wouldn't let him stay at the house until he stopped selling. And he was like, "Mom, please just take the money. I'm not going to stop, but please take the money." He did everything for her and she didn't want it. And then now he doesn't even see her as a mom. And you could say, "Oh, well, she betrayed him. She made him think that way." But the money was ruining Franklin. And also, Cissy asked Teddy if Alton was actually really alive, I think for 2 reasons. Or, well, 1 reason, but it would have went 2 ways. If Teddy, because in my brain, sorry, I'm going to jump back a second. In my brain, I'm like, why didn't Cissy just kill Teddy and not go to jail? right? If she doesn't want Franklin to have the money, why doesn't she just kill Teddy in the warehouse that they have him in, and then just deal with Franklin being pissed off, because she's going to have to do it anyway, if she's planning on killing him right before he tells the passcode or whatever. Why doesn't she do that? But then I think if Teddy thinks that he is going to get out maybe not scot-free, but if he's going to survive, that he will be honest. So then Cissy asks him, what prison is Alton in? And he goes, I fucking lied, I shot him twice. So if he did keep Alton alive, he would have been like, oh, I kept him at this prison, so and so. Or it was basically Cissy trying to find out the truth, because Teddy had nothing to lie about at this point. He is safe, as he thinks. So that was so good of her to be like, okay, I'm gonna get the truth, and then I'm gonna put him down. And I think people are so infatuated with Franklin being the main character that, like, they're like, oh my god, Cissy betrayed him. Franklin already betrayed himself, basically. One of the scenes in the Jerome and Louie's wedding, where they're all off LSD, Franklin tells himself, the hallucination Franklin tells real Franklin, like, do you think the other people in your life think that you're saving them? And he also says, if I end up where you are, if fake Franklin talking to real Franklin says, if I end up where you are, I failed. So he's not going to stop. Like, it's just so, it's so good. I just think that everybody thinks that Cissy betrayed him. Franklin betrayed himself, is what I'm trying to say. Even Franklin himself, his LSD vision, called out that Franklin became what he did not want to be. And he can rationalize it and be like, I help people, I save people. But even he deep down doesn't feel that way. And it's so good. I think people really talk shit on Cissy's character so much, and I think that it's wrong, I think. And then just here I have written that she saw Leon as more of a compassionate son than Franklin was because of the money. What Franklin was at the first 2 seasons versus where he ends at season 6, it's the money that did this. It's the game, but also the game is about getting money. It's about doing things for the money. So now I have Louie, Franklin, and Teddy. Okay, all these characters are the biggest schemers and manipulators in my opinion. That's how I feel. So season 5 ends with basically Louie goes above Franklin to get Teddy to sell to her directly. Jerome didn't want to do this, just going to say that. At least I don't think. And then Franklin is like, fine, if you guys want to go behind my back and all this shit, I'm going to leave the game. Then so Louie going to Teddy causes Franklin to leave, and Franklin leaving causes Teddy to take all of his money. But Louie didn't want to help him, and then Franklin goes and points a gun at her, causing this war. It's a fucking problem. It all stems from each other. They are all one in the same in certain ways. Teddy is kind of like an allegory or like a U.S. government stand-in. Like he gets away with all the bullshit. He can kill as many people as he wants, do all the illegal things that he wants, and he gets away scot-free for the most part. Obviously, except for at the very end. But for basically every single season, he gets away. He gets away. Even if he's almost caught or, almost, like, the news almost breaks out, he gets away scot-free. All 3 of these characters are plotters and schemers, and they cause the problems of the show. They basically almost cause all of them. I know that there's a few characters like Man-Boy, Skully, Kadisha, like those characters, they are like villains to Franklin, like they are killing people and whatever, but like a lot of this shit stems from Louie, Franklin, and Teddy. And Louie is a realistic character in the sense that she started majority of this shit by going to Teddy, by going to Teddy. And then, so she goes to war with Franklin. Jerome doesn't want any part of it. Then, when Jerome dies, she blames Franklin, not herself. She blames Franklin for giving Kane the address to the horse farm or whatever, the place where they captured Louie. But she never blames herself. Like, she says that she has to deal with the guilt, but she blames Franklin for it. And it's just crazy. They all blame everybody else but themselves.
And it's great writing. Teddy, when he's captured and Franklin is talking to him, Teddy says to Franklin, Teddy says that he was hurt that Franklin left the game, but Teddy sold to Louie, which caused Franklin to do that. It's like a triangle. It's a triangle of how these characters are all doing things that are causing problems for each other, but then blaming each other. And it's so well written and so good, but it's so well written, but if you say that you hate Louie, you have to hate Franklin, in my opinion, because they do the same thing. And again, Franklin is the main character. Franklin is the main character, but everybody idolizes Franklin, but he is one of the biggest villains. He's not a villain, but he's one of the biggest antagonists in the show, just like Teddy. Teddy is the fucking villain for sure, through and through. He is the catalyst. He does all the shit, everything. And it's a lot of his fault. And I don't know. It was such a good thing. It was such a good show. I mean, and then real quick, I have V left Franklin, and that was his fault. The money was so important to him that he was willing to put his hands on his lady who's pregnant with his son, and that caused her to leave. And you can't sit here and be like, she was always gonna leave. She really wasn't. She tried to turn her life around and change that fact, and Franklin turned her back to it. And then, okay, so we're gonna just jump to the last couple minutes of the last episode. It's all about Franklin and Leon and what Franklin becomes without the money. He is a drunk. That's one thing I noticed, and obviously they pointed out and they make it very clear. Franklin never drinks throughout the entire show. The last episode, he takes a shot, and then everything falls. And I'm not saying that it's like, oh, you drank once, you're a fucking alcoholic or anything like that. But you see his life is falling apart, so he resorts to drinking, and then all of it just fucking goes. Everything. Earlier in one of the scenes where Franklin is talking to Melody earlier on in the season, one of the seasons, he tells her that he wants to be free of it all. He doesn't want to have a boss above him, and he doesn't want to be in chains. At the end of the show, he says it himself, he's free. He has no boss above him. He's not in chains. He is not a slave to any system or anything like that. But so he got what he wanted, but it's so bittersweet because you don't want to see this happen to Franklin because he's the main character and you come to like him, but it doesn't idolize Franklin, and it's so good. My dad pointed that out because my dad had finished this show before me. I don't know how long ago, but we have been talking about it after I finished it, and they don't idolize Franklin. Franklin, like, you don't want to be like, oh yeah, I want to be like Franklin. Yeah, you want the millions of dollars, that'd be nice, but the things that Franklin does throughout the show, the killing of cops, the killing of his friends, his own people, the where he ends up at the end of the show, you don't want to be that. The money is nice, but the money is what turned him into that. So it's like you don't idolize him, and even Leon tries to give him a job. Hey man, it's like a legal or like a lawyer's office or like a legal thing, and Franklin, like he said, he doesn't want a boss above him. So even though Leon gives him a way to make money, he doesn't want it. And it's so good. It's so good because he said he wants to be free, and he is, but it's like, is this living? Some of the kids out front of Franklin's house is like, when Leon talks to him, he's like, is there anybody living in there? And they're like, if that's what you want to call living. But to him, he's free. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I'm not going to ramble on anymore. It's like a 9 out of 10 show. It's so good. If you have not watched it and you made it this far, I just spoiled everything for you. So, like, maybe watch it. I don't really know. But, yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Yeah, fantastic show. Amazing. I'm going to try to make more of these about movies and, like, other TV shows that I watch because I really like character analysis and storytelling and stuff. So, this shit is long as fuck. I probably should have cut it down by a little bit, but it happens. So, have a good day. Thank you for watching. See ya.